Center joined Accenture in Washington, D.C., and over the past 22 years has worked with some of the company's largest consumer goods and services clients. Based in London since January 2011, she is a client lead for a large beverage company and the consumer goods and services lead for Accenture in the United Kingdom and Ireland. Andrea says an unexpected discussion during her interview with Accenture was the first defining moment of her career.
I went into the interview at Accenture and I kind of wasn't really very interested in being there. It was rainy that day in Atlanta. I went to Georgia Tech for school. And I sat down and the partner at the time looked at my resume and said, you know, this looks really great. Tell me about really all the horrible things you've heard about Accenture, Anderson Consulting at the time, and how can I dispel those mistruths? And we just had a really honest chat. So there was this moment of, ooh, these are real people, and this could be really interesting.
Another career-defining moment happened soon after she joined.
The client partner at the time, who was a brand new partner then, this was in 1990, basically gave me a shot at a real interesting, complicated, and frankly high-profile role. So just out of school, went up there. There was a huge business case for it. We got it done in 6 months. There was just a small team, but big impact, big value to the client, and big visibility. And it sort of started things off with a nice end-to-end view of how this business works. And from there, it just felt like it fit, and kind of went on with kind of the same stuff, just different levels for 22 years.
The opportunity to collaborate and solve problems with Accenture people inspires Andrea.
I find that problem solving, that team building to be the piece that both inspires and frankly keeps me going when it's all just a bit hard sometimes, because it can get a bit hard. How do we do better? How do we perform better? How do we take advantage of what we have, or how do we add in things we don't have? But all of that has to be done with people. And so, engineering background, I love the problem solving.
For Andrea, success is about keeping things interesting.
I'll steal from a partner I worked from about 15 years ago. He used the term break an intellectual sweat. And if I'm not breaking an intellectual sweat, you're sort of not living. So to me, the success is every day, every month, every year, making sure I'm still doing that. So I actually set up a little rule for myself 22 years ago, that if for 3 months I wasn't having fun or I wasn't breaking an intellectual sweat, I'd go someplace else. And there's a couple not fun periods for maybe a month or two, but over the 22 years I've never hit that mark, because it's always a new challenge. There's always something to keep your brain engaged. Building relationships, am I adding value? It's what's more interesting than particularly the achievements or the levels. People sometimes don't believe that. It's like, well, you're a very senior partner, that's very impressive. But that's not the goal, to me.
Andrea believes you have to establish and pursue the type of life balance that works for you.
I've watched a lot of people make it in Accenture in different ways. I probably, for the first 12 to 15 years, really did make it my life. What I would say, though, is it wasn't that I was working all the time, like 100%, but most of my friends were Accenture. Most of my time outside of work was somehow connected with Accenture. So to me, it was kind of a lifestyle. I think to get to a point where you don't feel like it's your whole life, you just have to set those boundaries and make sure you hold to them. I had a woman who worked for me who liked to play volleyball with her college friends on Thursday. And this woman didn't feel good about saying, I need to go play volleyball with my friends. If that's your source of meditation, therapy, rejuvenation, you gotta go do it. It's really up to every individual, and the firm will take as much as you'll give.
Andrea encourages those around her to use the power of Accenture.
As people get more senior in Accenture, they tend to feel the power of the firm inside them. And if you think of it that way and you tap into all those things, I mean, amazing across 250,000 people. If you tap into it, you can make it through those challenging times. If you try and go it alone, you'll just dig yourself under it and really never get out.
She says the best career advice she ever received came from a mentor and friend who passed away shortly after his retirement.
We had a senior partner in New York. His name was Steve Zimmerman, and he was this fabulous character, amazing personality. His advice to me at one point, like 15 years ago, was He said, Andrea, the firm's going to keep moving. It's all going to keep changing. We're going to organize this way. We're going to organize that way. At the end of the day, if you can take care of your client, take care of your people, the rest of it works itself out.